Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today is the start of my end of year content and I asked on Instagram what you wanted to see first, and the majority of you seem to say you wanted a book haul. So today is the book haul, and then I probably have enough ideas for end of year content that's going to last me like the whole of January. So I hope you don't mind like having a very extended end of year content, because I do not have like the capabilities to do like the 12 days of Vlogmas where I put it all out in like the normal time frame when you would put like end of year content out. So it's just going to be the ongoing end of year content. So today is the Christmas book haul and some of November's book haul as well. I want to thank everyone for being here, first of all. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my content and hearing me gush about books, really. So that is a gift in of itself. So thank you, and I hope you all had a lovely, lovely Christmas and a great New Year. And thank you as well to everyone that has gifted me a book for Christmas. If anyone has a channel or Instagram, I will link all of their details down below, and I would highly recommend checking all of them out because they're all absolutely lovely, lovely people. So thank you in advance, well, to everyone that gifted me something. I unboxed them all. I'm sorry. I thought about doing this as an unboxing, and then I just wanted to see what they were, and I couldn't resist, okay? I was like, I don't have time to film this right now, so I'm just going to unbox them. And so they're all unboxed, but sorry. So the first one was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This was gifted to me by Jessie May, and I've actually already read this. I read it like straight away. This is the third Andy Weir book that I've read. You are following Ryland Grayson, and he wakes up. He has very limited memories, and he realizes that he's on this spaceship. It's how he comes to the realization of what he is doing there and the circumstances behind that, the things that he needs to achieve as he's there, as he's this lone survivor. The other crew are dead, and what this means for the future of humanity. And I really like this. It has a twist, there's an element of the plot that gets revealed like 125 pages in. So I feel like this book is really hard to talk about without spoilers. Like you have that bit, but like the majority of the plot is a spoiler. And I'm like, I want to talk about this book, but I can't talk about it because the things that I really liked are spoilers. Anyway, this is not a wrap up, but thank you, Jessie. Becca at Becca in the Books gifted me The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is one of my like all-time favourite romances. I've read it twice, but I've never owned a copy of it. I've read it on my Kindle, and over the past year, I've read romances for a while. Like I read this quite a few years ago for the first time, but I've decided that I'd read quite a few of the romances that I really, really liked on my Kindle, and actually I wanted to own some physical copies of them, especially if they were like 5-star favourite romances. So I would like to slowly collect some of the ones I know are absolute favourites, and this is one of them. I loved this. You're following Lucy and Josh, and they are co-workers and they do not get along. They've never got along, and it's sort of the hate to love romance between them. I just love the angst, I love the drama, I love their banter. I ate it up. Thank you so much, Becca, for this. Jessie at The Bookish Mum has gifted me The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick. This is the second book in the Rook and Rose trilogy, the first book being Mask of Mirrors, which I read in December. So sneak peek for my December wrap up. You've already seen that I've read Project Hail Mary, and now you've seen that I've read Mask of Mirrors, finally, because I put that on so many TBRs. This is the second book. I'm really excited to get into this because I really did like Mask of Mirrors. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes and see what happens to the characters. I really liked the cast of characters that we had in the first book. The first book you're following our main character Ren, she is a orphan who has lived on the streets or had a very hard upbringing, and at the beginning of the book she has developed a con to infiltrate the merchant houses and be a long lost relative to try and create some stability for her life and some extra money, extra funds. But you sort of see how things go a little bit awry. You also have the Rook, who is a Zorro type figure, and I really liked the houses, the politics, the ballroom settings. There were some like favourite scenes in that book, so I'm really excited to see how the plot progresses and see how the characters all fare in this one. I'm really interested to see how the magic system develops. There are sort of different magic systems and different magics, and I'm still a bit vague on how they all work. And I think I'm going to really appreciate it on reread that first book, but I feel like I really hope they get developed a bit more and my understanding of them increases. Yeah, so thank you so much, Jessie, for this. And then Stephanie from Stephanie's Book First has gifted me The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I am so excited to read this series. I should have put this series on my 10 series to read in 2022. I really should have done, but I didn't own it at the time when I made the video, and I was trying to just like focus on series that I owned. So now that I own this, can I just like put this on as like in that video? Just pretend that it was in that video, because I really want to read this year. I'm going to try and hold off a little bit until the fourth and final book comes out in June. So I'm thinking it might be like an early spring, sort of April, May, June type read for this series. And I feel like it's going to be for me. I cannot say that much about it. I really cannot, except I've heard politics, and is it steampunk adjacent? I feel like it was on that list of steampunk adjacent books that has been talked about, but I don't know. I really love these new UK covers. I absolutely adore them. They're so pretty. I feel like everyone I know has given this series rave reviews, and what they've said about it, I feel like I'm going to like it. I was watching Brightness Katie Reads, and she recently read the 3 books that are out, and she was sort of saying how each book has a different sort of focus and their development. So I just really like the way she talked about it. I was like, okay, yes, I think that's going to be for me. So thank you, Katie, for your like hype that you've both given this, and hopefully I like it as much as you. And thank you so much, Stephanie, for gifting this to me. Ali at Kisty Reads has gifted me Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is another series that I didn't put on my 10 series to read in 2022, and I actually really want to read it. So this is a fantasy romance with a King Midas retelling, so everything is golden in this world. I believe that like this book is a bit of a slow burn. There isn't like that much romance in it, and that the series sort of twists your expectations and things develop as it goes along. I think it's on like the darker side of the fantasy romance, so there are some darker topics featured in here, and that it's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, it says dark adult fantasy series, and yeah, it does say explicit content. Yeah, I feel like I'm prepared for that. I know the 4th book comes out later on this year. I think it's in May. So hopefully I can read it in preparation for that 4th book coming out and then pretty much binge the series. We shall see if I stick to that. But I'm really excited to give this a go. I feel like with fantasy romance, for me, I think it's best if I do binge them. I mean, I'm trying to get better at like binging series in general, but I really feel with fantasy romance that it's better for me if I binge. Otherwise I can lose interest a little bit if I have large gaps between the series, which is why I've been holding off until that 4th book is released. Speaking of fantasy romance, Kate from the Literary Apothecary gifted me A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first in a spin-off series that's focused around the world of From Blood and Ash. Ugh. Words. So I have read and enjoyed From Blood and Ash. I've read the 3 books that are published in that series. I didn't love A Crown of Gilded Bones. I really didn't. But I am still interested in keeping going with that series. For now, we'll see how the rest of the series goes. If it keeps going downhill, then I won't finish it. But for now, I am going to stick with it. And this is the first in a prequel, which sets up like the history of the world. And I have been told that it is like essential reading for continuing on the series, that this presents lots of things that you need to know for the rest of the From Blood and Ash series. So yeah, this is a prequel, and I don't think I can really talk about who it's about really without spoilers for that original series, but it is following like the gods and the origins of the lore and religion in that world. So I really hope it's good. I hope this goes back to being good again. I really do. But we shall see. My complaints with the 3rd book in the From Blood and Ash series is that it really needed an editor. I think she just forgot to get it edited. I don't know. That it could have been way shorter. So hopefully this doesn't have the same issues. But thank you, Kate, in any case. And fingers crossed we both love this. My lovely friend Sharon gifted me A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow. I've read both of Alex E. Harrow's other 2 books, The 10,000 Doors of January and The Once and Future Witches, so I have really enjoyed her writing style and her work so far, and she is now coming out with these fairy tale novella reimaginings. I've seen that it's got some like quite creepy images in it, which I think are quite yeah, creepy. So yeah, there's just, which I didn't realise this, that it had all these creepy illustrations in it, which I think is going to add something. I have been reading a lot of really long books, and so I think it will be very good for me to read a novella and something that's short, because the amount of like 500, 600, 700 page books I've been reading recently, I feel like I've been reading so many pages but not very many books. So it may be quite good for me to read some shorter fiction, and hopefully I really love this. I do really like reimagining, so fingers crossed. And thank you so much, Sharon. Speaking of like reimaginings, I didn't like stack this in any way, but I guess things are sort of like going along in a thematic way by complete chance. So Vish got me Olympus, which is the first book in, well, this is the first like bind up of a webtoon. I have heard lots of praise for this webtoon. I'm not very good at reading things on a screen, which is why I've never read it before. I think I tried, like I started reading the first one, but I was like, it just didn't work on the screen. So I decided that I wanted to read it, and Vish very kindly gifted me this physical edition of it. The artwork looks stunning. I love the like colour scheme that's throughout it, so this sort of blue, pinky, purpley colour scheme. I've heard that this is like a Hades Persephone retelling. It features all of the Greek gods. It's a very good adaptation of them. I'm not like big on graphic novels, so I'm a little bit hesitant because they're not like my thing normally. I much prefer a prose story, but I mean the artwork is absolutely stunning, so I'm definitely intrigued to see what this is like, and I've heard such rave reviews for it in any case, so I'm very excited to give this a try. And thank you so much, Vish. I know you've absolutely loved this, and I think you've binged like everything that's out as of right now, so hopefully I had the same experience as you. My lovely friend Joanna Souza gifted me 2 books. She obviously seemed to know that I have been really trying to finish and continue in series, and so she did very well at like picking the books that she got for me, because these are both continuations, finishings in series. So the first one she got me was The Bone Shard Emperor by Andrea Stewart, which I have already read, and this is the second book in the Drowning Empire trilogy. I really liked the first book, which I read earlier on in 2021, and then I read this one in December. I really like this world. It is, oh, it's the word I can never say. I was talking to my mum and stepdad about this at Christmas time. I can never say the word archipelago. There we go. Archipelago? Archipelago. Hopefully that's right. That word, I so struggle with it. Like, why is it so complicated? Why? It is set around these archipelagos, and you are following multiple perspectives. Some are written in first person and some in third, which I really enjoy. And you have Lynn, who is the Emperor's daughter at the start of the first book, and her realising like the powers in the world. She's forgotten all of her memories. She is trying to figure out what her memories were, and also it deals a lot with the magic system, which is this construct magic, which is where you engrave on bones from other people and you put them into sort of animal-like constructs which can do work, but these drain the lives of humans. Like if your bone shard is in use, it drains your life. And then you were also following Jovis, who is a smuggler, and he is smuggling children away from the tithe, which is where they take the bone shards. And he's sort of like what's not an unwanted hero. He didn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want that. He just wants to try and find his wife, who was captured many years ago, and he's been sort of searching for her ever since. So I really like the first book, and I really like the continuation in here. I'm not going to talk too much about it because this is not a wrap up, but I did really like this. And then she also got me When Night Breaks by Jenna Angelis. This is the second book and the final book in the Where Dreams Descend duology. I read Where Dreams Descend back at the end-ish of 2020, so I'd really like to finish this duology off whilst I still have some memories of that first book, and I've heard generally really positive things about this finale. The first book is sort of if you've seen The Greatest Showman, Zendaya and Zac Efron's characters meets Phantom of the Opera. it's set in this world where men are allowed to have magic, and if women have magic, they're sort of looked down upon. Like, women can use magic for household chores, but they can't flourish, they can't show off their magic. And the first book, you're following a character who is a female who does show off her magic, and she's like, my magic is just as good as the men's magic. And there's sort of this competition-esque thing that goes on. You don't quite trust. There's people that you're like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. So I'm definitely intrigued to see where this goes next. And thank you so much, Joanna. And then Sophia, she also got the series memo, and she got me Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard, which is the 4th book in the Witchland series. So I've read all of the other books in that series so far, and this is the 4th one. I'm going to hold off reading this until the 5th and final book comes out, and then I think I'm going to reread the whole series, because my memory is a little bit foggy now for like the prior books. So I think to get the best enjoyment, I'm just going to wait until that 5th book is out, and then I'll just binge, as opposed to rereading now for this and then like having my memory be all foggy again for that 5th book. And I think there are some delays with that 5th book. I know she's been struggling writing it, so hopefully it won't be too long. Yes, I really like the series. In this world, you have different witches with different powers, and our main characters are Safi and Iseult, and Safi is a truth witch, which is a very rare ability, and so at the beginning of the book she is sought after by various governments to tell if people are lying to them, and as you can tell, the truth is someone's telling the truth. But it does get a lot wider from there, and you follow these different characters and their friendships and the different sort of warring kingdoms. I really liked the first few books in the series, and I'm definitely intrigued to see where it goes next. Sophia also gifted me Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. This is a historical romance. It's set around the suffragette movement, I believe. I've just heard that Evie Dunmore's romances are quite cute and funny, and I do enjoy, well, I enjoy ballroom politics, and I enjoy cute romance. So, and I have read a few historical romances before. I've read a couple of Tessa Dare ones. I definitely I enjoy the period, so I enjoyed Bridgerton. I haven't read the Bridgerton books, but I enjoyed the show. So hopefully this gives me those vibes. And I just believe it's going to be fun. I believe it's going to be fun. So thank you so much, Sophia, for this. And then with a few of my friends who I've got a group chat with, we did a Secret Santa, and Katrina was my Secret Santa, and she gave me a few things. So she gave me Redemption in Indigo by Karen Lord. So this, I believe, is like a folk tale, but with Caribbean and Senegal elements to it, which is not something I've ever really read before. I believe Karen Lord is from the Caribbean. But yeah, I mean, it's saying this retelling of Senegalese folktale packs a great deal of subtly alluring storytelling into this small package. I don't think I've really read any folktales that have been inspired by African mythology, so I'm very interested to see what this is like. Angela at Literature Science Lines has read this and loved this and raves about Karen Lord, so hopefully I can love it as much as Angela. Our tastes generally align pretty well, so hopefully I have a very similar experience to her with this. And speaking of Angela, I am currently reading with her and Evie The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu, because I really want to read The Grace of Kings, and I was like, I can't read The Grace of Kings yet. I was like, I could read his short story collection. So I've started this yesterday actually. This is a short story collection by him. Yeah, we've all read the first 2 stories so far, so not very far. I knew that Angela and Evie were doing a buddy read, and I was like, can I gate crash? Can I join too? Will you let me in? Can I be in the cool kids club? So they let me in. Yeah, we're reading this together. I think we're all really enjoying it so far. We've all been really enjoying the writing style. I don't know like what I've got myself in for. I've heard that some of these are quite heartbreaking, so I'm a bit scared that I'm going to be like in tears and crying everywhere. But the first 2 stories I have not been they haven't been tearjerkers, but I'm a bit anxious that I'm going to be a wreck. I think we all are. We're like preparing for that, but I really liked his like preface and the first 2 stories. They're definitely like interesting thought experiments and have really got us thinking, and there's lots of discussion within them. So very excited to keep working through this. And then the final thing that Katrina got me was a puzzle. So this is the puzzle. It is of I guess a magical library. Perfect. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I love puzzles. If you are new here, I love puzzles. Thank you so much, Katrina, for these gifts. Speaking of puzzles, my mum also gifted me this one, which is like a Christmas circus-y one, which I think I'm going to dive into today. I'm really excited to get into it. It's just so cute. It's just so cute. I love puzzles. I love puzzles. It's been a little while since I had like any puzzle content, because I did a massive 6,000 piece puzzle, and that was pretty much like, I was burnt out after that. I was like, I think I needed a little break from puzzles, but I think it's time to be back into the puzzles again. So those are all the gifts. So thank you so much to everyone that gifted me a book over Christmas. I am so appreciative for you all, and just thank you. Just to finish off, I've got a few books here that I picked up in November, so I just thought I would talk through them as well really quickly. This one I think did arrive in December actually. I bought the Fairy Loot edition of Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. It is absolutely stunning. This was just a book only thing that they were doing. It wasn't part of the book box subscription, which I'm not subscribed to that. I wasn't a massive fan of the Vespertine original cover, so when I saw this one, which I think is really pretty, absolutely stunning, I was like, well, there we go, I'm buying that one. It was like a few pounds more, so I was like, it's a done deal. But it's got beautiful artwork on the inside, and it's just really pretty. Really pretty. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. And it felt like a Christmas present to myself, because it was a bit of a treat as well. I mean, I bought it like way before December, but it came in December, so it was a Christmas present to myself. Another Christmas present to myself, even though it came in November, was Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This was the Waterstones signed edition. It's my first like signed Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, this is the third book in the Skyward series. I read both Skyward and Starsight, and I really enjoyed them. I am holding off, like with the Witchlands one, I'm holding off reading this until the fourth book comes out. So I think I'm going to like reread everything, get to the novellas, get to this, maybe like the back end of 2022, or like this year, or maybe the beginning of 2023, just because I feel like if I read this now, my memory's not so good on the second one, and I'm just going to forget things. So I'm just going to hold off until that fourth book is released, and then hopefully have a binge. And I feel like this has had a lot of talk on BookTube recently, but it's following Spencer, and at the beginning of the book, she is training to be a space pilot and trying to like get out from the stigma that she faces because of her father, who has the image of being a coward, and she's just trying to make a name for herself without that bad image or bad history being over her. The words have struggled there, but yeah, the second book, everything really expanded. So, and I've heard that this is the same here, that things continue to expand, and it gets a bit more fantasy as opposed to sci-fi. But I am definitely interested to see where this goes. I picked up a couple of books from the charity shop. There's quite a good charity shop near my work, so when I do go into the office, I try and like go in there and see what there is, because obviously there must be someone there that likes fantasy, because I picked up quite a few good things there. These ones I don't know that much about, but they looked good. So I got The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. This I think is a sci-fi thriller. It's short as well, and I have heard Angela again talking about this, and she really liked it, so hopefully I like this as well. I'm a bit like, I don't really know that much about it, and I think that's the best way with this one, that you don't know too much about it. I'm intrigued about this, but again, it was a charity shop, like £1 find, and the same with this one, which is The Shadow in the Glass. I think this was sort of very fairy tale-esque. Once upon a time, Ella wished for more than life as a lowly maid. Maybe she's Cinderella. Actually, it sounds like Cinderella. So, lowly maid, one night among her beloved books of far-off lands, Ella wishes are answered. At the stroke of midnight, a fairy godmother makes her an offer that will change her life. But each wish comes at a price. It sounded fairy tale-esque. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this really, but the cover drew me in. It's published by Harper Voyager, and I genuinely quite like Harper Voyager's publications, so fingers crossed I like this. And then I have quite a few here that I read. So I picked up a copy of The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik whilst I was in Forbidden Planet a little while ago. I have enjoyed this series. I haven't loved it, but I've enjoyed it, and I read an arc of this earlier this year, so I just picked up a copy of it. The Scholomance is an adult, but it reads quite young, fantasy story where you follow some teenagers that are trapped in a school with monsters as they grow to learn their powers. This is a continuation of it. Again, I really like the plot, but I've been a bit iffy on the writing style and the way that the exposition is done within this world, and that it's a little bit clunky, but overall I am definitely intrigued to see where the third book goes after, which I think comes out later on this year. But I enjoyed this, and as I saw a signed copy, I was like, okay, yeah, we'll pick it up. One I absolutely loved and absolutely destroyed was Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. This is the third book in the Greenbone saga. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's the Greenbone saga by Fonda Lee. Like, everyone should read it. Yeah, this was the finale of this series. I mean, I loved this. I loved it. And the Greenbone saga is set in the city, on the island of Kakon in the city of Janloon, and you follow the No Peak clan and their family and their, well, it's a saga, so like their legacy, the children, and the battle, or the sort of the conflict that goes on between them and the Mountain Clan. And it very much expands as the series goes on. So the first book is really focused around the city of Janloon, and then as the series goes on, it becomes a much wider conflict and a wider political situation that they're facing, with other countries becoming involved and different generations. So this was a phenomenal conclusion, absolutely phenomenal. So I'm very, very happy with this purchase. Another book that I read earlier in the year and then as an arc and then picked up a finished copy was Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuznia. It would have been perfect to read this in winter. I read it in the summer, and it is a Nutcracker retelling. It is just so atmospherically Christmassy, and it makes you hungry because of all the food descriptions, and it's very fairy tale-esque. It's very, very fairy tale-esque. I believe this has been marketed as adult, but I think I would class this as YA in terms of the writing style and in terms of the themes and the topics. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like the characters. I just like the whimsy and the magic. This is the Goldsboro edition. It has a beautiful gold ballerina on the cover, which I just think is absolutely stunning. And they give this like film wrap to their books, which I've never had before. And I'm a bit confused because I'm like, oh, it's a film wrap book. I don't understand this. But absolutely gorgeous book, and I loved the insights as well. And then the final book that I picked up for myself was Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This is another one I had an arc of. I did not read the arc though because I didn't like the formatting, so I read it as a finished edition, and I'm very happy I did that actually, because this has gorgeous artwork in it, which I would not have experienced if I had read it as the arc. So it was really nice seeing these images that are dotted throughout the book, and I think it made it a much better reading experience. Reading it like this without all the arc errors. This is a Goose Girl reimagining, retelling, where you are following not the evil one, but like the one that steals the life of the princess. She's very like much an anti-hero that you're rooting for her because you're following her head, but you're also like, you're not the best person. But I had some very interesting themes in this. I really liked it. It was a very fun YA fast-paced story that I found pretty addictive and just really, really fun. So thank you very much to myself for buying those books. There we go. Those are all of the books and gifts that I was gifted for Christmas, plus a few that I gifted to myself in November. Let me know if you got any books for Christmas and if you had a lovely festive time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my future videos. Bye!